Welcome to Meet the Candidates 2015, a voter education program brought to you by the Shakopee Chamber and Visitors Bureau. My name is Angie Whitcomb, and I'm joined today by Bethann Lavoie, who is seeking a seat on the Shakopee School Board. Bethann, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. So I'd like to start out this conversation by asking you to give us a brief introduction of yourself, a little bit about your history and what's motivating you to run for school board.
Well, I am a mom of 2 kids in the school district, so that is probably the most motivating factor for me to run for school board. As far as my history, I really have no political history at all. I am a former teacher. I've taught in, and actually I'm still a teacher, but to me, when you teach college, which is what I currently do, it feels different than working with the K-12 kids. So I've taught high school, I've taught in the Peace Corps in Thailand, I've taught volunteers in the Junior Achievement Organization, which is involved in Shakopee schools to some extent, I know. So I've taught in those capacities, and so that's what motivates me, is that I really care about teaching and the students, and I want to make sure that what's going on in the district is good for them.
Great. So in your opinion, Bethann, what is the most pressing issue facing the school district in the next few years? And if elected to the school board, how will you work to address those issues?
I feel like what is really important now that the referendum has been passed and the school district is going to be able to build these great facilities is keeping it small. And for students to have that feeling that it's still a small place and that they can be engaged in their learning or connect to the school somehow. And so that means having lots of diverse opportunities for them, whether they're learning opportunities or other kinds. Because some schools or some kids aren't going to feel connected to the school just by learning. They're going to be connected in some other way. So all sorts of opportunities need to be there for all these different kids.
Okay, great. So if you are elected to the school board, what are 3 concrete action steps you would propose or support that would help to enhance the health of the business community?
For the business community, I think that you have to kind of take a step backwards first and think about what's good for a healthy community in general. And for that, I think the first thing that on a school board you can do is help focus on excellence in the schools, because schools are a cornerstone of any kind of community. And if they're doing well, then they're going to draw in businesses, they're going to draw in a potential pool of employees, and that's good for the schools and kids and for the businesses. Other things that I think a school board can do to try to help with the health of businesses would be things like building partnerships with businesses. They could look like internships for kids. They could look a whole bunch of different ways. And there are going to be all these facilities at the school after everything is built. So businesses could potentially utilize that space. The school can possibly utilize space in businesses, and money can be pooled to work on common goals. So I think all of those things would improve the health of a business.
Great.
Certainly.
So as a school board member, when you're in a position of decision making, the school board's taking action, whose interests should matter most?
Everybody in the community of Shakopee is important and a stakeholder in a school district, even if they don't have kids in the district. But fundamentally, it's really the interests of students, and will a decision the school board makes improve student learning? If the answer to that is yes, and it's a feasible activity or whatever it is that wants to be done, then I would support that, and I would think that's what matters the most. Other people, of course, their interests matter, and listening to them matters, but all of that needs to be filtered through, is this what's good for students?
Great. So if someone were to ask or to tell you that they were thinking of moving their family or their business here to Shakopee, what would you say to them to convince them that that was the right decision?
I think what I would most say is that there are a lot of people in Shakopee right now who are interested in making it better.
Mm-hmm.
And I've lived in several different communities during my life, not a bunch, but several, and there's never been that feeling of excitement and opportunity and just wondering what the future can hold.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is a really great draw for anybody who would be coming to live here. And there really are a lot of opportunities here. There are different businesses, there are different entertainment venues, the school district is growing. There's just a lot going on.
Mm-hmm. That is true. That is true. So the last question, Bethann, is an easy one. Why are you the best candidate for this job?
I am the best candidate because I am committed to diverse opportunities for students, and everything that would come through to the school board I would be focusing on, is this going to provide students with diverse opportunities so they can learn really well and they can also feel connected to their school. In that whole process, I'm also a really good listener and someone who has been in education in different ways. I have a doctorate in science education, so I have a lot of experience with what is supposed to work, but I also want to make sure, since I'm a former teacher, that those teacher voices are heard. They're on the front line. They know what's working for their kids or whether there's a problem, and that makes me a good candidate because I'll keep all of those interests in mind.
Great. Well, we thank you for coming in and spending some time with us today and giving the voters a chance to get to know you. And we thank you for watching this edition of Meet the Candidates 2015. For all things election related, please visit the Shakopee Chamber website at shakopee.org.